Hey, beautiful girl, sing. Hey, baby, hey, 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 beautiful girl. Hey, baby, hey, sing. Hey, baby, hey, 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 beautiful girl. Come along to kiss me. Before I'm going, come along to kiss me. Before I'm going, don't you kiss me, nice. Before I'm going.
My name is Hlengiwe Mthimkhulu from Ingwavuma in KZN in South Africa. I am the director of the Caesar Educational Trust, a community-based organization that is providing holistic care and support for the overseas orphans and vulnerable children. We've got so many interventions when it comes to the child, as we need to develop a child holistically. So we cover so many things, as we've got the capacity, as our staff, we've got teachers that are also training teachers to give support to the teachers, and also we've got the psychologist that is doing counseling and IQ testing. We've got the social worker that is also working on grants, first documents, then that will help the child to access grants. So we've got the social worker, and she's also doing foster care program. She trains, we recruit foster mothers in the community, then she trains them, and then we place children with the foster mothers.
Fantastic.
So then we see to it that the child receives that care, education, socially, and also psychologically, and in fact it's psychosocial support that we provide. We also have child-headed households where children are left by parents alone, sometimes without proper houses, like falling. Some of them are falling. So if the house is completely fallen, then we build just a simple 2-roomed house. Then if the house needs some renovations, we renovate or we do some repairs. Sometimes we find that children do not perform well at school.
Yes.
Then when they don't perform well at school, we train teachers to identify children's problems.
Okay.
Then they refer those kids to the psychologist. Then the psychologist will find out that there is no problem with the child academically. The child is doing well, but the problem is maybe the environment or the background where the child is. And we also buy uniforms for them. We also pay for them for school transport, and also for some educational tours that they take. We buy clothes, blankets, because one of the families that we visited one day, we found that they didn't even have one blanket, so they were using sheets, and there was no door. They were using a grass mat, just dancing to have a door there. So we have to try some means and put a door and whatever. Sometimes they won't even have a toilet, and then for hygiene and we need to try some means and also help with such things, and encourage them to go to school and to do their homeworks, and the mentor helps them when they've got problems with because we take matrics to be our mentors, so that they will be able to help the kids with their schoolwork. So helping a child-headed household it's something very it's crucial. Yes.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my sweetheart. Hello, my.
Why did you think it important to find sponsors to send them to a different school than the high school they would otherwise have gone to had you not entered their life?
Well, what started was that Ryan and I are involved in sponsoring the Themba's 2 biological children, okay, and they've just started they're essentially the beginning of their primary school, and we managed to get them into a really good, one of the best government schools actually in Cape Town. And it was just so amazing seeing how well they were doing so well actually within this government and within the system. So they then avoided having to go to Okanyo Primary, which is, as I said, the primary school, the township primary school. And I was just so struck by, you know, when I heard that the young boy Sikelelo had got into the school. I remember saying to Themba, what this means is that Sikelelo he won't live in the township when he's older, you know. And I remember being so struck by the reality around that. And knowing that that really was the best way in which we could help this family, basically. And then we did the same for Snazo, who's Themba's biological daughter. And then it just became so apparent to me that the way in which to really uplift people and give them opportunities in South Africa is through education. And so when I met these 4 girls, and when I was speaking to them, we went for a walk one day and we're chatting about, you know, what is your school like, and you know, what do you like and not like about it. It very quickly became apparent that they didn't see themselves as having a future if they went to Maphumelela High. And we spoke about that a lot. And I remember being up in the mountains with them and thinking, you know what, I really need to actually find another option for them. And that's kind of how the journey started. I can't afford to sponsor all 4 of them. And so I started contacting friends who I thought might be interested in doing that. So it just became apparent from what I heard about Okanyo Primary and the Maphumelela High that there wasn't a future for them if they went that route, basically. And of course I got to know them, so I could see their potential and their vitality. And in fact, what struck me is the first time I had with them, I asked them the question, what do you want to become? And I don't know if you asked them that question, but they said things like journalists, doctors, teachers. They were things that required an education. They weren't just going to, this wasn't just going to, no matter how favourable, you know, affirmative action might be in this country, you don't become any of those things without a good education. The school that they're at is significantly better than the one that they would have gone to. It's still not top of the range government school. It's not, you know. And one of the reasons for that is that it probably used to be quite a good government school, but it's not as good anymore. But it's still a lot better than all the other ones. And I mean, ideally, what I would actually like to do is to get them all into one of the good government schools. I tried there's a good government school in this valley, but it's chock-a-block. I mean, they just said, you're wasting your time. So actually what I need to do next year, on my priority list, is to try and find out where else could I get them in, you know. But it won't be, even better, yeah. Particularly because some of them are doing it exceptionally well.
What? Means better
results? Better means better resources, better teachers, better extramural activities, essentially better quality education.
And do you see that in the results at the end, or how is it visible?
See,
how do you know which school
is? Well, I've spoken, my mother's a teacher, was a high school teacher, and she's only recently retired, so I mean, I know what that school, the one that I have in mind, is in Wynberg. I know the facilities that school has, and we're also speaking to various people involved in education. Even though these schools are doing very, very well at Simonstown High, their marks, if they were to move to another very good government school, they probably wouldn't do as well, because the standards are just higher and the levels by which you are measured are much higher, you know. And yet, in spite of very poor primary school education, I mean, these schools are doing really well, you know. So, and I think for me the acid test is, would I send my child to Simonstown High? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, you know. So that for me is the acid test. And in which case, why should they be there? And yes, I think for me, I see it as a stepping stone towards something better, you know. What struck me is the impact of the role that I play in their lives. And you know, it's quite a strange thing. They know that somebody is expecting greatness of them. And that, it's just such a powerful motivating factor. There was an incident recently where basically I organised for extra maths lessons for them, and what came out was they were like, "Oh, just don't want to let you down." I said, "Listen, it's not about letting me down. You need to do your best." But what struck me was that probably for the first time in their lives, I mean, their mothers are amazing, but their mothers have got different priorities. Whereas I expect greatness from them, and they know it. And the impact of that, knowing that there's someone out there who cares enough to get linked into their lives, to, yeah. that for me has been quite powerful, actually.
Hello, my baby. 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 Hello, my sweetheart. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Don't you meditate, sing. Don't you meditate. I send a messenger to tell you that.